Hey guys, this is the YouTube version of my show. I don't love the idea of even putting it out like this, but I'm going to use YouTube to stay in touch with you guys from now on. That means this version is missing all the stories about coronavirus, insurrection, your Second Amendment rights, and more. All of these, of course, are usually my most honest, brutal, and important stories. Anyway, you can get the entire unfiltered and uncensored show for free by going to thecomicsgym.com or nickdip.com. It's still free on both of these sites, too. And if you want extra content each day, join at patreon.com or thecomicsgym.com for the daily encore show. Also, while you're on these sites, please make a contribution to keep this show free and check out my tour dates. I'll be in Phoenix, Raleigh, New York, and Texas in the up-and-coming months. Remember, you guys keep thinking it, I'll keep saying it, and please enjoy, and please share today's episode. Talk to you soon. I am so sick and tired of the liberal agenda that is destroying our country, from our schools to our workplaces to our media. It's literally everywhere. Well, everywhere maybe, but not this show. Never. Here you get the truth, unfiltered and unapologetic. I don't care if I hurt feelings or if I take a position that isn't agreeable or if I step on somebody's toes. I call them the way I see them, and then I put it out there for free. To keep this show free, I need your help. Please go to nickdip.com and make a contribution, or even better, subscribe at thecomicsgym.com or on Patreon today and get an extra encore show each day. Discounts on merchandise and a whole lot more. Thank you guys so much for watching, sharing, and contributing to the best show, in my opinion, on the internet and the most honest. You guys make it happen. Oh yeah, how are you folks? Good to be, I hope I remember how to do this. Jesus, feels like I retired for a year. I got it good, folks. I don't know what the fuck it was. I couldn't wait to get here. Crawling out of my fucking skin. I love my house, but I wanted to burn it down like a week and a half in. Learned a few songs on the guitar though. That always helps, huh? What am I gonna do? Be in a Lipitor commercial with my other 60-year-old friends? One of those garage bands. I make that joke every time, but it is a funny visual. Okay, what are we doing next, Dallas? I'm confused.
94.
Huh?
94 Biden.
Oh, we get, some more footage of our president. Remember, you Democrats who aren't watching, obviously, because, well, maybe you are. I don't know if you guys have been reading Fox News. Tucker, Carlson, Hannity, I think the five. Do you know they get more Democrats now watching than CNN and MSNBC do? They're starting to eat the fucking left's lunch in their kitchen with their fucking food. You know that? So that's, to me, that's groundbreaking. More Democrats are watching. I mean, CNN just imploded while I wasn't here. We can't go over all that, but I didn't know. I knew they were going to fucking die, but I thought it would be at their own hands, not at suicide by pedophiles and fucking, whatever, sexual harassment and all that shit. I never thought it would go down like that. Fucking Zucker. And that's not the, folks, everybody knew about that affair. So that's not what brought him down. There's more to come. Everybody knows that. He should have been canned years ago for the fucking, he decimated that place. It was always a shithole to begin with, in my opinion. But he turned it into they have to blow it up, including that fat fucking fag, Brian Stelter. You gotta go. Guy's got the gayest smile I ever seen in my life. You can see like pieces of fucking Cub Scout's ass in his teeth. Just came from the rectory. Anyways, here's Here's Joey Biden, back in the, 1994, talking about black crime. Again, doesn't even say it then, but it's even more ballless and cowardice because we all know what he's talking about. But here's the one you Democrats, again, if there's two of you watching, just spread this on Facebook. I don't give a fuck. Here's that so-called pure guy. Remember, you said Trump was a racist. Where's the footage of Trump saying shit like this? Okay? And this is a guy you voted for, you people who love to point to guys like me and go racist, bigot, racist. You're all full of shit because you're all racist. Unless you've never had a racist thought. That person doesn't exist. So fuck you. Here's the guy that you voted in. I don't give a fuck if it was 30 years ago or 40, whatever. Here he is. Here's his true colors.
Unless we do something about that cadre of young people,
blacks,
tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock,
blacks,
without parents, without supervision, without any structure,
who's he talking
without
about?
any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created.
Pause. No, not society. Don't blame us, the Democrat Party. Don't blame society. Blame you, jerk off, and all your fucking Democrat friends who put him on a welfare plantation, and you're still doing it to this day. He could have said that fucking yesterday. It would have been just as true. Don't fucking blame us. Society neglecting. Get the fuck out of here. This is 1980, not fucking 1850, the way you're talking. You fucking phony. That's the guy you voted in. Meanwhile, you can't find footage of Trump saying anything that heinous. You assholes. Why don't you get out of the way and let the fucking adults? This is good. I'm sick. Maybe I should do this all the time. Fucking miserable. Burning up over. My ears are filling with water. Sound like De Niro on Cape Fear when he's driving. That was pretty good. Anyways, you know what I'm trying to say. That's fucking Joe showing his true colors. And he hasn't changed, folks. Only difference now, he's fucking got somebody pushing him out there so he can find it. Anyways, that's all I had to say about that. Did I already do the N-word? I'm fucking delusional. All right, let's get on with the show. In the N-word segment tonight, of course, what else? Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan being attacked once again because there's a super PAC out there for the Dems or a special whatever, started by India Arie, some shit singer, put a compilation today of him saying the N-word over 12 years, and they're trying to can him. I will tell you where Joe is right, and I'll tell you where, in my opinion, he's wrong as far as how he handled this, and I dare you to fucking challenge what I'm going to say. Hey, Joe, where you going with that N in your hand? I can't even sing. I'm too sick. Hey, I can play it on guitar now. Joe Rogan has been has responded to a resurfaced clip of him using the N-word almost 24 times while hosting his wildly popular podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience. By the way, that's 12 times, over 20-something, whatever? Fucking Senator Byrd said that 12,000 times in the first 10 days he was in Congress. Anyways, and so is Joe, and so is everybody else that used the N-word. But once again, it's very obvious, folks, what's going on. He is so powerful, that show has grown into a monster, that it's threatening the powers that be. Whether it's networks, legacy media, they are threatened by how powerful it is. If he was talking about spatulas and shit, you think they'd give a fuck? He wouldn't have, if he had 1/10 the audience or whatever the fuck. But anyways, here's Joe, and I'll give you my opinion. This is just a blurb of how he responded to these accusations about being racist.
I'm making this video to talk about the most regretful and shameful thing that I've ever had to talk about publicly. There's a video that's out that's a
Male pattern
compilation
baldness
of me saying the N-word. It's a video that's made of clips taken out of context of me of 12 years of conversations on my podcast, and it's all smushed together, and it looks fucking horrible, even to me.
When he says it looks horrible, do you mean how they, the quality, or? He's like, I don't know who put it together. I'm much better looking than that. They shot me from my left side. Let me respond, because he went on to say, and I'm pulling out the most important parts and paraphrasing, that he didn't understand before why white people weren't allowed to use the N-word. It should only be the domain of black people. And he said, now I understand that. Well, Joe, sorry. First of all, let me start this by saying Joe is no racist. Matter of fact, he's almost the other way. He's a bit of, he told me he was raised, I think he told me my first time on a show that he was raised by hippies, basically. Newton is a very liberal place in Boston. Rich libs. His parents are kind of hippie generation, whatever. And I know he's not even close. I'm not just saying this because he's a marginal friend, but he is no racist, not even close. And you know what proves it? The fact that they had to take all these clips out of context and mush them together after the number of shows he's done and shit. And that's how you had to get him. Do you see what I'm playing by playing dirty? Now, that's how I feel. But then Joe goes on to say, now I understand why white people should never say that word. You can't say that. If you say that, you also have to say that I don't believe in free speech. It's as simple as that. It's no more complicated. The First Amendment's there to protect unpopular language like the word not to protect the easy shit. So for him, that surprised the shit out of me. Now, also, you got to take into account money. You know what I mean? Maybe, I don't know what his contract's, what's written into it, you know. Spotify could say, if you do anything, whatever, after you sign this, we have a right to yank you, whatever, you know. I don't know that. So maybe he's just protecting his ass, and we should all understand that. But Joe's a big free speech guy. He was. But that statement there, I hope, I'm praying it's about money. And then I would understand you're just covering your, doesn't make him a sellout. He's busted his balls. He's earned what he's earned. You know what I mean? But this shit has to stop. Trying to eliminate guys like this has to really fucking. You got to find out who's doing it. I mean, find out specifically who's involved and start scaring the shit out of them. You can't believe that the people that do this to people, you can't believe they don't have any skeletons in their closet. So somebody has to start doing their fucking homework. Or just take the BLM approach and get in front of their house and fucking threaten to burn it down. I'm fucking dead serious. Otherwise, this is going to go on and fucking go on. You have to fight fire with fucking fire. But I'll end it with saying Joe is the furthest thing from a racist. He called me. I'll give you a little example because I had a little thing with him as far as race goes. When my special came out, the last special, Breath of Fresh Air. You remember there was a controversy when it came out about the album artwork. I've talked about this on the show before. Look at, I'm out of breath. Imagine. The artwork. I had picked a photo of a black kid. It's stock photo. I just grabbed it off the internet and put it on the album cover along with a feminist-looking broad and, whatever. It wasn't the best-looking, Photoshop. It didn't matter. I wanted the point to get across, and I'm giving them the finger. After that came out, some girl out there, some Asian chick, I think she was a comic from New York, did her homework. Turns out that black photo, the kid I grabbed out of it, who I had no idea who he was, he ended up, he got shot in New Orleans by somebody robbing him. But he was part of BLM. He was a big, a chapter leader, whatever. I didn't know that. But it blew up. So much so that I was trending #1 the only time in my life on Twitter in New York City. It was great for the fucking album. I wish I could take credit for it, but I didn't do that. Joe texted me immediately and said, dude, I think you should take that down. It was unsolicited advice, but you know what? I didn't get mad because he was looking out for me. You know what I mean? I didn't agree with it, But then I thought about it, and I said, you know what? If it was my intention to grab a BLM kid who I knew is dead, and just to be controversial, and they told me to take it down, I'd go, fuck you. But that wasn't my intention. And I'm thinking, he's got family and shit. You know what I mean? I actually thought it through like an adult for the first time in my life. But because I wasn't trying to be controversial by putting that guy. I didn't know who he was. So I took it down. It doesn't matter to me. I grab somebody else. I want to make my point. But Joe said, I think you should take it down. And, I thought about it. It kind of got me mad that he was telling me what to do. Because, it's almost like, okay, so you think I'm a racist too. You know what I mean? And now I don't know where I stand with Joe. Because since that special, I don't know if I've talked to him since it came out. Maybe a couple times. But I haven't in a year. And now I understand that he can't put me on a show. I guarantee I'm in one of those shows. They asked about 100 of them. But I didn't say anything outrageous racially. It's just my point of view. So if he's protecting his dough, and I'm not calling him a sellout. I'm just saying, now I understand. But I have so much I'd like to talk about with him. Now let me give you some advice. Even though I know you're a trillionaire, you're way more famous. But I got in hot water at Comedy Central, at radio stations. I have something to say about it too, whatever. But it's just, the bottom line is it's fucking horrible what they're trying to do. It's just horrible. And like I said, if we don't stop fighting back, and anyways, he continued, he says, I know that to most people there is no context where a white person is ever allowed to say that word. Never mind publicly on a podcast, and I agree with that now. No. And he says, I haven't said it in years, and then admits to using the word in his past, but claims it would only be within the context of conversation, which is how he used it. And you're not gonna, sorry, black people, you're not a racist if some white guy goes, what if some white guy goes, I just saw this piece of shit racist calling this woman and a black woman a That's the same as saying that fucking... No. We're not going to change the rules, how the language works. It's just a fucking word. Use it at your own discretion and risk. Okay? But you guys they've turned it into something like it has magical powers. My last producer was black, and we had this discussion. He goes, it's just a fucking word, which most black guys, I think they understand. But it's the politicians and the entertainers who use it like a cudgel. Don't tell white people you can't use it in any context. That is so childish. There's one word in the English language that only one segment can use. Where else do we make that type of exception? What the fuck? That's how you know it's a political tool. He used to say, instead of saying the N-word, I would just say the word. I thought as long as it was in context, people would understand. Yeah, that would be in an adult world. Seriously, we're not changing the rules for one segment of the population. He says, I understand what I was doing.
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
I'm talking about the people that are trying to get him.
Why aren't more people encouraging? Like me.
Grammy-winning singer, India. Who the fuck is that? Airy. Oh, there you go. Somebody hit her with an axe in her fucking stupid 60s afro. Shared the now viral clip of Rogan Thursday on Instagram while explaining her reasons for removing her music from Spotify, citing Rogan's language around race and a $100 million deal that she believes is built on the backs of musicians. Yeah, well, up your game. Then you can have it too. He's just a white privileged guy. While acknowledging that social media footage can be doctored and taken out of context, Ari Forty said, argued that the stand-up and UFC enthusiasts shouldn't even be uttering that word. Don't ever say, who the fuck are you? Don't ever say it. And again, I'm not condoning the word, but I guarantee if I got in a fucking fight with a black guy, I'm going to say it. I'm just telling you. And if I got in a fight with a Chinese, I'd think of the worst thing I could say to a Chinese person. Or a fucking woman. Or a German. Sorry, am I being too honest? Yeah. Don't even say it under any context. Go fuck yourself. Go comb your bush. That's where I stand. I have always stood there. Where? In the middle of stupidity? Fucking whore.
You need to shut the fuck up.
Rogan claims, however, that he would often be discussing comics of yesteryear who used the word, or quoting bits from like Lenny Bruce, Paul Mooney. He went on to explain his fascination with the word and the fact that one race isn't allowed to use it while another can use it in countless ways, which he's pointing out the ridiculousness of it.
It's just so ridiculous.
So I don't think he should change his mind again, unless it's going to take away everything he's built. And by the way, the CEO of Spotify says we're not taking him off, but they're going to put all kinds of disclaimers and shit. It is real where we are in this country. And again, while we're fighting about Joe Rogan and this and that, jerk off Biden's doing whatever he's doing with Ukraine and fucking China, and Pelosi's covering up deals that she had with China, telling American athletes not to speak out, all that other fucking, well, look over here. Here's the fake discussion about the N-word again. Well, we do this and slowly move to Marxist fucking policies. It's very unusual, but it's not my word to use. He said, I never used it to be a racist because I'm not a racist. But whatever your situation you're in, you have to say, I'm not a racist. If you ever in a situation where you say, I'm not a racist, you've fucked up. Again, disagree 1,000%. Are you fucking shitting me? Don't judge people. This goes for everybody. Don't judge people by their words. Judge it by their actions. Start there, people on the far left. But they don't give a fuck, because it's not about that. Let's move on. I'm going to let this thing roll. He did and he told a story about going to the movies, Planet of the Apes, a cab dropping off in a black neighborhood, and he said, we were in Planet of the Apes. I remember telling that story, and I took it the way I think he meant it. We were in the movie Planet of the Apes. But you can't say black neighborhood and apes, so whatever. Even if he was being racist there, you're going to wipe him out for it? Trying to, be funny? Anyhow, I just don't like the way he handled it. Because I deep down, I got to believe he's a free speech guy. He's a fucking comic. And he doesn't tippy-toe on stage by any means. So anyways, next story. Boy, a lot of race stuff today. That's the way I like it when I have 109 fever. You should feel my forehead right now. Dude, you could burn your fingers on. Sambo Adams, who wrote that headline? That's naughty. New York City Mayor Eric Adams apologized. Oh no, let's see what he did. Friday, after a 2019 video surfaced showing him using a racial slur for white people, which there is none. Cracker. That hurts. Used a slur for white people when talking about the New York Police Department.
I have a big ball!
The video first reported by the New York Daily News shows Adams, who's black, thank you, speaking at a private event in December 2019 during the early stages of his mayoral run. Now he's in front of all black people here. It's a black audience, right? And I think we know what happens. Just the way, whatever, Trump gets in front of a bunch of MAGA people, he gets a little fucking crazy. We all know black people get around black people. They turn the black up a couple notches. I do it with, Italians. Hey, Talamazzi. But why you guys fell for this fucking jerk, I don't believe he was elected. New York, you can't be that stupid to take a black cop who headed up 100 blacks in law enforcement, which to me shouldn't even exist in the first place. It should be cops. And here's your new mayor, but here he was. Again, no big deal, but go ahead. Let's make a big deal out of it.
Every day in the police department, I kicked those crackers' ass, man. I was
unbelievable.
Police department where you keep 100 blacks in law enforcement.
Fuck you and fuck you. Who's next?
I kicked those crackers' ass. He gets around black people and he's letting it fly. Understandable. Hillary does a southern accent when she gets below New Hampshire. Dumb. But, in a world where we're playing by the rules for both sides, both colors, he should be admonished and there should be some fake debate. Should we keep him? Obviously, he doesn't like white people. See, it only flows one way. That's the problem. Adams is a former New York City police officer who rose to the rank of captain before leaving to serve an elected office. While in the New York Police Department, he became an outspoken critic of the department and co-founded an advocacy group called 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement Who Care. I found the one called 250,000 Black Criminals Who Don't, which pushed for criminal justice reform and spoke out against police brutality. Adams was asked about the video at a news conference Friday, and he said, fuck off, yo. He said, wanted to definitely apologize for his remarks and called them inappropriate. Inappropriate, he said, comments should not have been used. Someone asked me a question using, here comes the excuse, using that comment and playing on that word. I responded in that comment. But we don't care about context, motherfucker. Apparently the new rules are context, just for white people, I'm sorry. But clearly it's a comment that should not be used, and I apologize not only to those who heard it, but to New Yorkers because they should accept more from me. No, it's exactly what I expected from you. You can't hide your blackness, especially around other black people. And that was inappropriate. Shut up.
Shut up!
Fucking ass.
Will you please shut up?
The word has often been considered a derogatory term for poor southern white people in general. It started off with crackers down south. And by the way, it don't bother fucking white people down south. They refer to themselves as crackers. You can't have that word, black people. You're appropriating. We just say cracker, all right? I want to hear you say it when you're ordering soup. You can't say fucking cracker. It ain't yours. Just trying to get along in a black man's world down this motherfucker. Southern white people, but the origins of the term came from, that's right, Joe Biden and Senator Byrd. A 2013 report from NPR found the term was used, look at they have to go into it, as an insult as far back as the 17th century. It was later used to refer to wait a minute, I'm Scotch-Irish immigrants. I'm going to file a lawsuit, settling in the southern U.S. The mayor, who has been in office a little over a month, said the comment referred to his efforts to combat racism in the department. My fight in the police department was fighting racism throughout my entire journey, even though I'm still a racist. And I was serious about fighting against that, and that is what's attached to the question that was asked. Again, I'm telling you why I said it, right? And that, you got my response based on what the question was asked. So in other words, what did somebody say? Did you give the crackers hell? Was that the question? The head of the city's largest police union quickly put out a statement defending Adams. I know this guy's Lynch. Whenever a controversial video of a police officer surfaces online, we ask for fairness instead of a rush to outrage. We apply the same standards here, says PBA President Pat Lynch. Who's white, it says. Oh my God, are we fucked up, man?
You can act like a man! What's the matter with you?
Oh, God. Hey, boys and girls, I want to thank you guys who had tickets to see me in New York and New Jersey last weekend. If you know me, you know I don't cancel shows, as I explained earlier, unless it's major. I wasn't any shape to travel or to get on a plane. Anyway, so many of you held on to your tickets for the rescheduled dates, and I appreciate that. We're working now on some new tour dates. Here's what's on sale so far, so I can get back on a plane and catch something else. March 25th, Hyenas Comedy Club in Dallas. The next night, the 26th, Hyenas Comedy Club, Fort Worth, Texas. April 7th through 9, Comics at Mohegan Sun, Uncasville, Connecticut, where I tried mushrooms the last time I was there. May 6th, Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, New York, one of my old haunts. May 7th, the Paramount Theater, Peekskill, New York. September 9th, Soul Joel's Comedy Club in Royersford, Pennsylvania. I love that one. September 10th, Algonquin Arts Theater in Manasquan, New Jersey. September 11th, I'll be in Tehran telling those motherfuckers to eat my dick. Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center in Chester, New York. You can get tickets to all these shows at nickdip.com and click on the tour button. And we thank you guys for hanging in there. On to some more. Let's get away from race and talk about BLM leaders. This is the news, and it all should be talked about. Since race is just being used as a cudgel for the last 40 years to hurt whitey. Bottom line, BLM leader headed to the can. That's the headline. I couldn't come up with anything else. I'm sick of it, talking about these people. What these people, man? Who are you talking about, these people? The founder of the Black Lives Matter chapter in Memphis has been sentenced to prison for 6 years for illegally registering to vote in Tennessee. Really? It sounds a little harsh, right? Got to be more about Pamela Moses, the 44-year-old activist, was ordered to spend 6 years and 1 day behind bars Monday for registering to vote, despite felony convictions in 2015 that made her ineligible to do so, Shelby County District Attorney General Amy Warwick said. In handing down the sentence, Judge Michael Wood accused her of deceiving the probation department to obtain the right to vote. She's a lying whore.
Liar, whore, and you know it.
You tricked the probation department into giving you documents saying you were off probation, Ward said in court. In 2015, Moses pled guilty to tampering with evidence and forgery, both felonies, and to misdemeanor charges of perjury, stalking, theft under $500, and escape. So like Biden said in the 80s, they aren't socialized. Practically called them animals, which is so wrong, and Biden, you should be canned for that. She looks like a nice lady. Should be arrested for that shit on her head. She was placed on probation for 7 years and deemed ineligible to vote in Tennessee because of the tampering with evidence charge. Oh, you sure is. Moses has maintained that she was under the impression that her voting rights had been restored when she went to vote in 2019. She said, and I quote, "I did not falsely do anything. All I did was try to get my rights to vote back the way the people at the election commission told me and the way the clerk did," she said. In other words, it's never my fault. Her attorney, BLM sounds like a defensive member of the Chiefs, said his client plans to appeal the sentencing. Is that what the lawyer said?
Counselor?
With a fucking...
Counselor?
She believes the sentencing was beyond the evidence that was presented, he told the Washington Post. And then they licked his balls because they agree with anything. Anything. Here's a new headline for you. Light sentence. I put light as an L-I-T-E. Why? Oh, man convicted of attempting to set fire. That's why. You know, light. You light a fire. Is that how you spell it? Don't you? When you're doing shorthand? A man convicted of attempting to set a fire to a high school during the BLM riots in Minneapolis following the death of a guy named Frankie Floyd. George Floyd has been sentenced to 5 years probation for trying to burn a school down. He got 5 years. Joe Rogan, they want to destroy his life because he used the N-word 12 times in 1,000 years. You see how equal justice is no longer, huh? How about a white guy trying to burn down a school? Even an Antifa jerk-off, never mind a Trump supporter. Do you see who the creeps are? You see how it's all reversed? It's not Trump supporters that do evil shit. It's mostly these fucks. We're at a crossroads, my friends. We are at a crossroads.
You're a creep.
I'm not a creep.
Get away from me.
Hey, relax. Just doing my show over here. Mohammed Hussein Abdi, guilty. Sorry, guilty. Yeah, but what about his haircut? Guilty. What about his face? Guilty. What about his lips? Terrorist. Guilty. He looks like Elon Omar stuck her tit into a socket. Mohammed Hussein Abdi, 20, was handed the probation sentence at a U.S. District Court in St. Paul, Minnesota, Thursday, after pleading guilty to conspiracy to commit arson, according to court documents obtained by Fox News. Abdi was also ordered to pay just over $34,000 in restitution, which he had in his pocket from selling weed, I'm guessing. Nick, that's racist. Good. Put it in there. Leave it in there. Fuck you. To Gordon Parks High School in St. Paul. This was his comment. That's all he had to say. Translation, I didn't do shit. Court documents state that the sentence was imposed pursuant to the Sentencing Reform Act of 1984. The presiding judge, Reagan, oh, how the fuck is anybody still alive that was appointed by Reagan? District Court Judge David S. Doty did not immediately respond to a request for comment because he's probably embarrassed. Here he is, holding a football up that some bully shoved up his ass when he was in 5th grade and hasn't let it go. Fucking asshole. Abdi was arrested in June 2020, a month after he entered the high school, through a broken glass door during the Floyd riot. Could be seen on security footage pouring liquid from a white container onto the floor and then into a trash can. Abdi then took a liquid-soaked garment and set the fire to the trash can before running away as flames and smoke began to spread.
Durka Durka.
Absolutely.
Muhammad Jihad. Haka Sherpa Sherpa. Bacalao.
He was heard saying as he ran down the hallway. It has been estimated the rioting across the nation following Floyd's death destroyed over $1 billion. That's $1 billion with a B worth of property. How much property was destroyed on January 6th? Anybody want to give me, what was it, $40 worth of whiteout was spilled or something? Huh? $1 billion. Not to mention 40, 50 people died during 500 riots, by the way, if you count them all, Portland every night, 500. But it's the white terrorists, domestic Trump supporters we better watch out for. They're the threat. That's not even the school he burnt down. What was that, an AutoZone? AutoZone. There you go. More than 1,500 businesses in Minneapolis-St. Paul area were damaged or destroyed during the riots, totaling roughly, how about this, $500 million in damages. And, you know, hey, just give them probation.
These blacks. Who knows what they're going to take the wrong way?
I can't believe it. Guys, take a second, go to nickdip.com and click on the store button. Since I missed 2 weeks of work, I'm broke. They'll find official Nick DiPaolo merchandise, including the hoodie and the beanie, which will keep those of you stuck in the shithole liberal Northeast warm right now. You'll also find mugs, T-shirts, and all the Nicka designs. Again, go to nickdip.com, click on store, and thank you for supporting the show very much. Spread the word. Okay, spread it. All right.
Make me a sandwich. Make me a fucking sandwich.
Make me a fucking sandwich. In our Make Me a Sandwich segment tonight, on Friday, Oscar-winning actress Susan Leather Nipples Sarandon apologized for her post marking the huge funeral of an NYPD officer, writing, "I deeply regret the meme I recently shared on Twitter that included a photo of Officer Jason Rivera's funeral. I reacted quickly to the picture without connecting it to police funeral, and I realized, what a dumb bitch, what did you think it was? Halloween and everybody went as a cop? And I realize now how insensitive and deeply disrespectful it was to make that point at that time," she added. "I sincerely apologize to the family," she's giving me a fucking... malignant yes, "of Officer Rivera and more for causing additional pain during the time of grieving." On Tuesday, Sarandon sparked rage on social media after she mocked the massive funeral procession along New York City's Fifth Avenue for slain NYPD officer Jason Rivera, 22, by tweeting, this is what she tweeted, "I'm going to tell my kids this is what fascism looks like." Fucking. The caption accompanied a photo of the funeral procession. Above the photo, she taunted. Here's what it reads. "So if all these cops weren't needed for crime that day, doesn't that mean they weren't needed any day?"
You stupid fucking blabbermouth.
Can you imagine being so... Even if, like, it wasn't a cop's funeral and you were commenting on something, just think about the logic there. Well, you're not doing a movie today, so do we need you ever again, you fucking... Rivera and his partner, Wilbert Moore, 27, also died, were ambushed and shot in Harlem while responding to a domestic call. Social media expressed their anger. The Police Benevolent Association of the City of New York responded, "This is what privilege looks like, a wealthy actress safe in her bubble, mocking heroes, and making light of the crisis that cops are battling alongside our communities. New York City is uniting to stop the violence. At Susan Sarandon is living on a different planet."
You fucking whore. Fuck you. Yeah, that's it. Go home. Get my dinner ready.
You're just the worst people ever. And you're finding out. It's taken a while. You're angry, you're shrill, you're vile, you were unpopular when you were young, you're friendless, you're angry, it's all misdirected at an establishment. And go somewhere else. Get out of my fucking country. Go to Beijing. See how they're treating the fucking luge team over there. There's actually like female athletes online crying how shit he is over there. How bad the conditions are and stuff. You don't think China's laughing their balls? You think they give a rat's ass? I felt bad for that 19-year-old girl. First, when I read she was representing China, but she was from like San Francisco, it got me mad. But then it's like, wait a minute, she's 19. She's a kid. You guarantee her parents from China. They probably know somebody in the up and over that called and said, listen, your daughter's going to represent a... Why that Chinese person talk like that? I don't know. It was more like... I'll do that to him 100. I don't give a fuck. So she's representing China, the poor thing, figure skater. She fell like 19 times. I'm exaggerating, but just like two competitions in a row, she fucking flamed out. You know why? She had the weight of both fucking countries on her. She's a 19-year-old kid. Usually I would laugh. Figure skaters fall, I laugh. I'm a mature guy like that. I laugh. I go, look, they've been training for 19 years. She just lost her fucking hole. But she's a 19-year-old kid. I felt very bad for her. New Jersey snowplow worker. Oh, it's a new story? I'm sorry. New Jersey snowplow worker hit a Chinese girl who was representing... This is a funny one. Anyways, final story, I guess. I don't know where we are. I don't know what I'm doing here today. New Jersey snowplow worker fired after he posted a video showing him deliberately push a huge pile of slush and snow onto two Orthodox Jewish men walking in the street. It's got to be New York, New Jersey. The video, which circulated on social media last week, was taken by the passenger in the snowplow as it approached two unsuspecting men wearing traditional Orthodox clothing in Lakewood in Ocean County. Here's the video. Let's take a look at the poor Jews.
Get this through your head, you. Get this through your head, you Jew motherfucker, you.
Now, hold on. I'm not trying to defend these nimwits, but I got to believe, first of all, I don't know if they can tell from there. I got to believe if that's two guys of any ethnicity, you got to get that. If I'm drunk and driving that fucker, you're going to get it. I'm that type of asshole, absolutely. So let's not make this into an anti-Semitic thing. I say that, and they cut to the guy's got a swastika on his face. As they reach the man, as you see, they deliver the plow, drop it. Massive white wave of snow onto the tube before the workers burst into tears. Really? And all the shit that's going on in the world. The video posted and deleted on the Facebook account of Donnie Klarman. Uh-oh, Donnie. There goes my theory about it not being an anti-Semitic. Holy shit. This guy was a skinhead roadie, or his dad was. Look at this fucking guy. Danny Klarman was captioned, "This one's for you, JC." Oh my God, he's religious. Earlier this week, Waste Management announced that one of the individuals in the video has been fired after a suspension. It's unclear whether the man fired was the driver or the passenger. While the incident did not involve a company vehicle or company equipment, the employee associated with this social media post is no longer employed with Waste Management, the company said in a statement on Tuesday. The conduct of this former employee is unacceptable and not in accordance with Waste Management's code of conduct, commitments, and values.
Bye-bye, dickhead.
By the way, Waste Management, you're right, it wasn't conducted within their values, which is organized crime, by the way. Waste Management is run by, well, again, I don't want to paint with a broad brush, but was that in New Jersey? It was, right? Yeah, okay. Waste Management, you know what I'm saying? Let's just watch The Sopranos, you get an idea. Speaking of that, before I go, real quick, I stumbled over a documentary. I don't even know the fucking name of it. I'll tell you what it is. I'll give you enough information. You can Google it. Danbury, Connecticut had a minor league pro hockey team in 2003, 2004, 2005, in that area. It's an Italian guy, mobbed up trash guy, by the way. Allegedly, I don't want to get in trouble here, named Galante. Okay, they made a documentary about it, so I'm not talking out of school here. Anyways, he had a kid who grew up to love hockey. He saw Mighty Ducks when he was a kid. Ended up playing in high school, and he was a real fucking Italian head wrecker. He was just laying out people. He loved the rough shit. And what gave me chills is in the documentary, he goes, yeah, my father, and I've said this in 20 interviews I've done. I said it at my dad's eulogy. My dad always kind of pulled for the bad guys in movies. I don't know if it's an Italian thing or what. Not like a World War II Japanese movie, but I'm saying, you know. And this kid said the same thing. My dad always pulled for the bad guy in movies. And he sort of liked the same thing as me. Long story short, folks, you couldn't make this up. The kid blows his knee out in high school playing hockey. So his father buys him a minor league team. They wanted to play in Danbury, I guess. Builds the fucking thing. Dudes, here's the plan. The kid loved, naturally, all the fighting and hockey and shit that went on even before his generation. So he's on the phone. He's the GM. He's 17 or 18. Calling around with help from other guys. They get a team of goons. Retired hockey players. Some of the toughest looking This is all real. This is all real. Opening night, it's packed in Danbury. The mayor's there and shit. The owner, Galante, the father, calls down to the bench to one of the coaches on his phone and says, have so-and-so start a fight right during the opening face-off. They drop the puck. This is Slapshot meets the Sopranos. That's what this was. Opening the gloves come off. They start wailing on. Must be 10 more fights that game. So the next it's packed even more. And it's Slapshot. That's all it is, only with a mob involved. It's not made up. It's a true story. I don't even know the name of it. Just Google Trashers. That was their logo, a trash can with a hockey stick with two eyes sticking. And they just went on to bloody everybody, and they actually made it to the finals one year, and then the FBI moved in. Guys, I can't make it up. They should have made a movie and not a documentary out of this. But look up Danbury, Danbury, Connecticut, Thrashers hockey team. I think, it's disbanded now. Dude, you want to laugh till you cry? Anyways, yes, the most important part. I want to thank all of you guys who contributed to the show while we were away, and I really do have the best fans out there. Here's a list of people who stepped up to help us keep the show free as one-time contributions. Of course, Sagnella from Connecticut, Fernando Olivo in New York, Peter Schwackhammer, Ohio, Mark West of Florida, Colin to Aunt Cumia again, Washington, Robin Kulwicki, Michigan, Mark Evans of Ohio, Kerry Jackson of West Virginia, Sean Paolo, Buddy Don in FLA, Joseph Hirsch of Ohio, Robert Deloche, Louisiana, Austin Pardee, Robert Curley in New York, Michael O'Connor, Pennsylvania, Michael McDonald of Florida, Luke Ball, or Bale, Jay Lundgren of Virginia, Kelly Hubbard, Jim Turnpaw, Matthew Asano of Minnesota, Heather Joyce Fenton, Mark Da Vinci, Douglas Young, and new monthly supporters, John Wason, Patrick S. Young, Ken Mosca, Benjamin Crutchfield, Chris Wemuller, Arizona, Gary Laporte, California, Michael Chiles of New Jersey, excuse me. Thank you guys so much. Good to be back. I actually did miss you. And that's it. Don't forget thecomicsgym.com, nickdip.com, cameo.com. If you want me to roast a friend or relative, go to cameo.com and they'll tell you how we do it. That is it. You guys thinking I will say it? You're very welcome. See you back here tomorrow, hopefully. Take care.